This is All-Star Superman, written by Grant Morrison and illustrated by Frank Whiteley. If you ask me, it's the greatest superhero story ever told. In scale, it is epic and cosmic, it is quiet and intimate, it is conceptually ambitious and nuanced in how it portrays its characters. I'd like to say it needs no introduction because it's always brought up when people talk about the best comic books of all time. It's almost always someone's pick for best Superman story. But if I believed this book was as recognized as it should be, then there'd be a lot less people out there who say things like, Superman is boring, Superman is generic, Superman sucks. No, you suck. Okay, well maybe you don't. The issue here is exposure. Either people don't read the comics or see them as fodder to be turned into a movie they will watch. It also comes down to both a lack of faithful adaptions in the mainstream and a lack of variety in adaptions. If you buy into Zack Snyder's version of Superman, for example, and think people are just wrong and crazy for not embracing it, the fact stands that for those people, Superman has significantly less options than the likes of Batman and Spider-Man. You can't say that Superman Returns is a real alternative to Man of Steel in the way The Amazing Spider-Man is an alternative to the MCU Spider-Man. But I digress, because Superman fever is in the air. I'm desperately trying not to just whack that out and botch this poor recording. James Gunn's Superman is out, and it has kickstarted the new DC universe, and I saw it, and I was overwhelmed, for lack of a better word. It's a movie that, while yes, sloppy in many respects, it's one of the most confident blockbusters I have ever seen. It is a comic book story through and through. And by that specifically, I mean good comic books are not embarrassed to be campy. They're not afraid to have melodrama and be corny or swing big with sci-fi and fantastical elements. Because that is what the whole damn industry is built on. And these things, these qualities of the source material are so often either ran through a filter when adapted for mainstream audiences or treated with a self-awareness to the point where it feels like the filmmakers are actively apologizing for daring to make a normal person witness these things. James Gunn rebuked the idea that any new character or concept shown to us requires some sort of justification or extensive backstory and just let the world be. I was enthralled the second the film started with that serial-style text telling us where the story is right now before Superman crashed into frame. It's that hit the round grunting, get with it or get left behind approach that made Star Wars so instantly captivating in 1977. By gum, I got my Star Wars reference in here. The film makes it a point to revel in the core things that make up Superman: hope, optimism, kindness, doing good for good's sake. It's not bathed in meta-commentary, it simply does what it sets out to do, and that simplicity of intention combined with quality of execution made James Gunn's Superman a frankly moving experience. Because ultimately, when it slows down and lets David Corenswet really live in the skin of Clark Kent and stand tall as the Man of Steel, it's just like, that's it, you got it. You get Superman, you get humanity. It's as simple as that. The most artsy of dramas struggle to capture the human heart with such immediate clarity as this deceptively complex character, when he's written well. Superman is so hard to write, to act as, and for an outsider, hard to see what makes him so interesting because everything he leans on are things we take for granted. Whether it be we see them as cliches or immature, but beneath the brawn and smiling demeanor, it's an ocean of potential and complexity with this guy. I always love how Sam Raimi movies have like these really dramatic shots of the eyes. I don't think I can really recreate that here. So I'm just interrupting the video real quick to say, I hope you're doing well, and if you're enjoying this video, hit subscribe. I do videos twice a month. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I suddenly shot up to 1,000, and I'm immensely proud of that, and thank you all for being here. Hit the subscribe. I talk about media, art, superhero movies, and go ahead right now, go to the comments and tell me what your favorite Superman movie or adaptation is, whether it be animated, live action, whatever. Maybe even Injustice if you're a freak. You know, stick around. I think it'd be really cool. Thank you. This book right here, titled after the included story, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, written by Alan Moore, is a small compilation of his Superman stories from the 80s. The titular story was written to be a non-canon send-off to the first 40 or so years of Superman's history before DC rebooted its continuity. The story feels haunting in a sense, that it maintains the look of classic Superman in its art and designs. The art was penciled by Curt Swan, who had been drawing Superman since 1948. It deliberately calls back to the carefree and wacky concepts of the Silver Age comics of the 50s and 60s. And yet the world is changing in a sense that some greater shift is occurring somewhere, something this version of this world wasn't designed to see, and it's bleeding into it. I won't spoil where it goes, but it effectively gives the most essential, groundwork-laying version of Superman one final challenge before being put to rest. It stretches him to his limit and honors the character and his legacy all the same. The most popular story featured in this book, For the Man Who Has Everything, takes place on Superman's birthday as Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman arrive at the Fortress of Solitude to deliver gifts, only to find Superman captured by an alien parasite. The story explores what the title suggests. What could a man like Superman possibly want or need? The parasite subdues Superman by putting him in a dream where he's living a normal life on Krypton. The planet was never destroyed, he was never sent to Earth, and he has no powers. He is married and has a son. It's a fascinating and emotional story to see how Superman would have lived his life, and ultimately how he comes to grips with the unreality of his dream. This story was beautifully adapted in the animated series Justice League Unlimited. And I'll use this as a segue to say the DC animated universe, which encompasses, these shows, has my favorite adaptation of Superman as a character. While I love the Christopher Reeve version, I give this universe credit for showing me how varied Superman could be when I was growing up. Superman has such a friendly yet heavy presence in these shows. Tim Daly plays him in his own animated series, and to me is the best voice of the character.
Suddenly people are calling me Superman. They want to know everything about me. Some are even afraid of me.
I heard you were crazy. I didn't think you were stupid.
And George Newborn takes over the voice for the two Justice League series, and his Superman voice is a little deeper and stern, but it reflects the passage of time well, and feels fitting for the more established sense of authority and experience Superman carries at that point.
A head start. You're getting soft in your old age.
This universe is such a great showcase for the character because, yes, he is likable, but in a universe crawling with other heroes and the fact he doesn't need to be the lead of every storyline, you get a real sense for his place in it all. The space given for him to just exist and be perceived by different characters and be put in so many different situations conveys exactly what makes generic hero Superman so different and important as a character. And yeah, he just gets some of the coolest storylines. If you enjoy superhero movies but don't read comics and don't plan on reading comics, watch these series because there's so much cool stuff in here. This is Superman for All Seasons, written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by the late great Tim Sale, my favorite comic book artist. It's a story told in 4 parts, one for each season, each one narrated by someone in the life of Superman or Clark Kent. It's a story as melancholy as it is cozy. It crafts such a deep understanding of Superman as a person who grew up in Kansas, who had friends, who worried about a girl he liked, whose parents worried about him being okay as he grew up. A person who worried about making the best life for himself and making the world better at the same time. By juxtaposing the narration and the thoughts provided by each season's narrator with the ongoing events of the story, you get this fully realized 3-dimensional picture of Clark Kent. In so many ways, this story is the opposite of All-Star Superman. It's at the beginning rather than the end. The art is nostalgic and warm rather than sleek and grand. It has characters talking through their thoughts and feelings to try to make the picture clearer for themselves, rather than weaving in perspectives with sure goals and intentions. These two stories together show the vast potential for writing this character, and they are both so heartfelt and clear in their theming and characterization that they capture the fundamental truth of why Superman is such a uniquely compelling character. I can't put into words how gratifying it is to see a beam of this light projected onto the big screen in a time like this. I could have used this video to just lay out how I think James Gunn used the character well and effectively brought his own flavor to the Superman mythos, but I decided to make this video just laying out my belief in Superman as a character, and with that in mind, I think it's appropriate to leave things here. So that's going to do it. Thank you for watching. Did you see Superman, the new one? Did you like it? Did you like Man of Steel better? Are you still a Christopher Reeve guy? I somewhat am. I still need to see the movie probably 2 or 3 more times to really figure out how I feel about it in the grand scheme of things, but I think it's a wonderfully satisfying and important movie for the times. And ultimately, I'm just satisfied that I feel like it's a faithful adaptation of the Superman character. So leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I'm posting videos on this channel. Actually, you know what? Come here. I've done this bit before, but no one watched the video I did it in, so it's fresh. Follow me on Letterboxd so you can see what I'm watching, and I occasionally leave reviews there. And my Instagram, I do photography, post updates about videos there. I'm still trying to figure out how to coordinate how I use like YouTube posts and Instagram posts, but I think I'm just going to do things on whims until something catches. And like I said, I'm genuinely interested to hear like, what's your favorite Superman movie? What's your favorite Superman comic? How do you feel about the current direction of DC? For several videos, I ended it saying I want to hit 1,000 subscribers, but I already hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to help me hit 2,000 subscribers, and become a sleeper agent, and when I say something, I don't know, bad about James Gunn's Superman, then you'll know it's time. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Take care, y'all. I'm gonna start writing down these in advance. You see where I fucking fucked that up? Oh, what is that? What is that? It's peanut butter. What the fuck?